I'm going to show you how man definitely wrote the Bible with some minute things that you probably never thought about and just glossed over. So I was having a conversation with a pastor friend of mine this morning, and we were talking about the fact that he saw one of my long-form videos on YouTube concerning how the flood never happened. And I gave all the scientific reasons as to why, as well as biblical reasons as to why it never happened. But one of the things that we was talking about was the fact that Noah took unclean animals onto the ark, and then only to sacrifice those animals when the flood was over. And then was told that he can eat all the animals, just like he can eat all the fruits and vegetables. Now we know certain fruits and vegetables, certain plants will kill you if you eat it, so he can't eat all. But he never got the rules. Nor could he have ever gotten the rules of what clean and unclean animals are, because clean and unclean animals were only told to Moses. Unless they were having side conversations, would you think Noah would have told everybody what a clean and unclean animal is? Why would you wait for Moses to do so, hundreds if not 1,000 years later? Doesn't make any sense, right? Right. So Noah wouldn't have known that. But while talking about it, I said, let me tell you something that you probably have glossed over and never even thought about. In Leviticus, when it talks about what animals you should eat and not eat, when we get to the part about birds, it names all these birds that you shouldn't eat, and some of them I agree with. But one of those birds that it names is a bat. There's a problem with that. Bats are not birds. Bats are mammals, but they're not birds. Now you would think the God of the Bible would have known through his own creation what birds and bats are, but he didn't. What a bird is and what a mammal is, but he didn't. He went ahead and named bats as far as birds. Now you may say that, well, those people would not have known, they weren't smart enough to know the difference between mammals and birds. That's bullshit. Don't use that the people weren't as smart as we were, because there are things that they did that we can't do today. And it's just like a child. If you teach a child something brand new, then they should be able to learn it. You're saying that they was incompetent, they couldn't learn it, but you're going to believe the book that they wrote, the words that they said, the inspiration that they supposed they were giving you? No. You have to accept that God doesn't know the difference between a bird and a mammal. A bird and a mammal. So bats should not have been named with birds. But y'all just go ahead and roll with it. That shows that man was just looking at it and say anything that flies in the air other than insects that look kind of animalistic is a bird. Because a man wrote it based on his perspective, not his divine inspiration. The other thing is God doesn't know medicine or diseases. Because when they talked about leprosy a little bit later in Leviticus, they said that leprosy, when the skin becomes white, all white, and the hair turns white. Well, leprosy doesn't turn the hair white at all. That doesn't happen. And since these were melanated people, they would not have turned white. They would have gotten, if they had leprosy, they would have dull patches, but still slightly brown. The other part, vitiligo, that turns it all white. Vitiligo people being punished for no reason at all.